Good evening, Miss Yas, and good evening, classmates, and to my brothers in Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your ibadah or worship, especially this month of Ramadan, wherein all acts of worship is being rewarded with great value. So, my topic is about fiscal policy and monetary policy. What is the relationship of these two policies? So these two policies are the two approach used in macroeconomics, which is used by the government and the central bank to control the economy of the country. So let us start with fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is a policy used by the government to control the economy, which it was already discussed probably by Miss Cathy. So it is the Department of Finance who use this policy, led by this guy. It is led by this guy, Mr. Secretary Carlos Dominguez III, who has assumed his office last June 30, 2016. So according to the proponent of fiscal policy, John Maynard Keynes, there are two variables that the government use to control the economy, which is the tax rates and the level of spending by the government. Fiscal policy itself is subdivided into two, the expansionary and contractionary. So expansionary fiscal policy is used when the economy is low, when there is a high unemployment rate. So the government will decrease the tax and increase the government spending in infrastructures. So how this answer the problem? Isn't it should be increasing the tax rate, so it will create more fund for the government, so the government can utilize this fund for infrastructure. So how does decreasing the tax rate will solve this problem? According to history, Joseon Dynasty, this is not my picture, okay? But lamang lang siya ng isang paligup. Joseon Dynasty that had existed in Korea. The longest dynasty was about 500 years. This dynasty, during the ruling of the emperors, they are engaged in wars. So the emperor had to provide funds for his military force. So his option was to increase the tax rate. So there is a force in collecting the tax. So this had ignited rebellion. So by means of decreasing the tax rate and increasing the government spending, this will increase the investment and increase the economic activity. Because with lower tax rate, the investors will be attracted to invest, and the consumers will surely release or reveal some money to spend. They are willing to spend, so there is a circulation of money within the economy, because without circulation of money, the economy will die. So by decreasing the tax rate and increasing the government spending, this will create an economic stimuli or stimulus that will attract consumers and investors to invest and consume or buy products. Okay, unlike the contractionary fiscal policy, contractionary fiscal policy, wherein it is the fiscal policy used when the economy is experiencing high inflation. So the government will increase tax rate and decrease the spending, and therefore the result would be of course, decrease in investment and slow down also the economic activity. So, but the government rarely increases the tax rate because as a same reason, it will create havoc or dispute from or bad impression from the public to the government. So let's proceed to monetary policy. Monetary policy is the policy used by the BSP o Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to control the economy. With the BSP, the governor of BSP is Benjamin Diokno, who has assumed his office since March 4, 2019. So this is the guy. So the monetary policy, the highlight of this policy is it control the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or the central bank controls the money supply in the economy. How? The central bank, with central bank controlling the supply to these commercial banks, so the access of the consumers to money will also be controlled. Okay? So with controlled money in the circulation in the economy, the central bank has direct control of the prices of goods. So there are three strategies under the monetary policy. One is open market operation, wherein supplying or limiting the liquidity of the banks through buying or selling treasury bonds. So by buying treasury bonds from the commercial banks, the central bank is supplying money for the commercial banks. So more money for the commercial banks would also mean more money for the consumer or borrowers. In this way, this will create more money in the circulation of the economy. And by limiting the liquidity to the banks through selling treasury bonds, this will limit the money of the commercial banks, therefore limiting also the access of these borrowers and consumers to money, therefore decreasing the circulation of money within the economy. Reserve requirements is a central bank's regulation that sets the minimum amount of reserves that must be held by a commercial bank. By requiring or controlling the reserve requirement of the commercial bank, so the central bank is forcing the commercial bank to limit access to their own money that they can utilize to the borrower and consumer. Okay, and the third would be the discount window or discount rate. So the central bank will lend money to the commercial bank at 10%, and the commercial banks will also lend it higher to its consumer, so they can benefit from it. Okay, so with these huge amounts of rates, okay, huge amount of rates, the consumer will bluntly be attracted to it, no, because it's too much high. According to discount window or discount rate, if the central bank will decrease the percentage of what we call this, interest of the amount to be to the total amount that each commercial bank will borrow, then the commercial bank will also decrease the rate to the consumers or buyers or borrowers, therefore attracting consumers to borrow or invest. And this will create more money in the system. As a summary, the summary of my report, the main player of the monetary policy is the central bank, while on the fiscal policy, it's the government, the Department of Finance. In terms of decision making, the monetary policy, the central bank can utilize whatever resources they can have, whatever percentage they may have during the open window or the discount rate. Unlike in fiscal policy, the decision making should be done by the government. Therefore, unifying decision is very hard because it's politics. So it will take time. And in terms of resources and limitations, of course, the government can use resources beyond the borders of the country. Okay, they can borrow, and the central bank has limitations. So one question: why not the BSP increase the production of money and give it to the poor? So I would like to leave this question to you. Bakit hindi na lang gumawa ng maraming pera ang Bangko Sentral at ipamigay ito sa mga mahihirap? So yun. With that, I am ending my report to this, and I leave this question so we can have some discussions. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Yas. Thank you, classmate, for listening. Thank you.